covers up all these qualities. And when you remember God in a manner that you forget yourself, your ego self becomes dissolved. Your ego self is dissolved. And you will experience this on the way by seeing it getting weakened. Your ego self will be weakened. It will be attenuated. You will be able to transcend it until the point comes when it is extinguished. So this is not my opinion. I am going to quote to you from this very chapter of the Bhagavad-Geeta, where Krishna very clearly states, what does Krishna very clearly states? Krishna very clearly states in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, in the 12th verse. In the 12th verse of this 13th chapter, Krishna concludes by saying, Eta jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad ato anyatha. He doesn't say this is the way to knowledge. Acquire these qualities and you will have knowledge. He says, I declare that this behavior is knowledge. It means that the person who has knowledge behaves in this way. Eta jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad ato anyatha. This I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to this is ignorance. In the Bhagavad Puran, there are two verses which are very important. One verse in the Bhagavad Puran states very clearly, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasita surah harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathanasati dhavato bahi. I would want you to make a note of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Puran, 5.18.12. 5.18.12. What is he saying there in that verse? Krishna is saying there in that verse very, very, very clearly, that all the exalted qualities that are there, such as the entire list that you will see in 8 to 12, the list that you will see in divine qualities in 16th chapter, the qualities that you will see from in 13 to 18, 12.13 to 12.13 to 12.18, all these qualities become manifest in the body of one who has developed undeviating devotion to the Lord Krishna Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person who does not engage in devotion, who has not attenuated his sense of self, who is engaged in material qualities, has no good qualities. Because even if he is expert in mystic yoga or in endeavoring to maintain his family and relatives, he is driven by manorathanasati, which is mental speculation. How can any good qualities be there in such a man? So again, I'm repeating it. Please make a note and use it for a cross-reference. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya akinchana sarvair gunes tatra samasita sura. All good qualities will become automatically manifest in you. So don't be frustrated, don't be turned off, don't give up because this is too difficult to acquire all these qualities. These qualities are already within you. And as you remember God and forget yourself, with the forgetfulness of the self, the ego self, the ahankar, the aham mam mameti, the dirt will be removed and your intrinsic good qualities will shine through. Then there is another verse in the same Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavad, 3.32.23. And in 3.32.23, there it is declared, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatya Shuvairagyam Jnanam Cha Yadahitukam. When you are worshipping Krishna Vasudeva in the prescribed manner, spontaneously, naturally, effortlessly, both knowledge and detachment will become yours. So self-realization will bring to you both knowledge and detachment. So even if you never read a book in your life, you will have all spiritual knowledge that you need to have. Even if you've never tried to be detached from the world, all detachment will be yours as far as the world is concerned. You will be attached only to God. So this is an important point I would like to make right in the beginning. And that point I'm trying to emphasize here is that all good qualities will spontaneously occur within you as you engage in remembering Krishna and forgetting self. This is the law. You remember Krishna and forget yourself. And spontaneously, naturally, effortlessly, all these qualities that are there in the Bhagavad-Gita, including the ones from 8 to 12, 13.8 to 13.12, you will see all these qualities becoming manifest within you. And Krishna says, these are not the ways to acquire knowledge. They are, of course, the result of knowledge. They are knowledge itself in action. Again, to cross-reference before we start 8.12 to 13.8 to 13.12, I will take you back to the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. The fourth chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, beginning with 4.25, begins to explain to you that there are many, many, many types of yagyas, and they are all continually described one after the other until 4.32. And it is pointed out that the highest of all those yagyas is the yagyas that are yagya of knowledge. And what is that knowledge? That knowledge is explained in 4.35. Yaj jnatva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava sarva bhutani asheshani drakshasya atmano athamai. When you have acquired that knowledge, you will know that all beings, they lie within me, they are in me, and they are mine. This is so important for you to understand. But you have to perform yajna. And what does that yajna do? That yajna brings about dissolution of the self. It brings about attenuation of the self. It enables you to transcend the self, the ego self. Therefore, you have to learn to perform yajna. And Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. You approach someone who, having performed this yajna, has attained self-realization. And having attained this self-realization, he can teach you how to perform that yajna. So ask questions unto him. So the job of the teacher, Krishna says very clearly, is to teach you the performance of yajna. And the Bhagavad-Gita wants you to make your whole life a yajna. Whole life. Yes, certainly. Your whole life must become a yajna. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushama darpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever charities, whatever austerities you perform, do it for me. Of course, among these yajnas is the performance of your own everyday duties and activities, which occupies most of your day. Yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana abhyarchaya siddhim vindati manava. One who performs his God-given duties as a yajna, offering these duties to the all-pervading Lord, he attains peace, perfection in the supreme destination. Anashritah karma phalam karya karma karoti yah sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnira chakriya. Indeed, he says that one who performs his God-given duties without expecting the fruits of his labor, he is the true yogi, he is the true sannyasi, not one who lights no fire and does no work. Of course, in your recreational time, in your discretionary time, so that your mind doesn't harass you, trouble you, and take over your mind, giving you suffering. Krishna says, Yagna nam japo yagnosmi. Of all forms of sacrifice, I am the chanting of the holy name. So while work, doing your duty with devotion is the method prescribed in the Bhagavad-Gita, your discretionary time must be filled by chanting God's name. In this way, by constantly remembering God and forgetting self, all good qualities will manifest within you. So don't worry if you feel that acquiring all these qualities is very difficult. It's not difficult. You don't have to acquire them. They're already there within you. Simply engage in remembering God and forgetting yourself. And you will find that spontaneously, naturally, effortlessly, all these qualities will become manifest. So Krishna says, Amanitvam, Adambitvam. These are the first qualities that manifest when you are engaging in worshipping Bhagavan with devotion. These are the manifestations of that Gyan. Which Gyan? 4.35. Which is, when you learn the truth, you will know that all beings, they lie within me, they're in me, and they're mine. So what happens to you? As your aham mam mameti, I, me, and myself dissolves, you will become humble. Not only will you become humble, you will lose the desire for respect. You will lose the desire to demonstrate your arrogance. You will become internally non-violent. It's very important to understand that violence is an essential part of life. The Bhagavad-Gita also is very clear, because the Bhagavad-Gita is about Krishna teaching Arjuna to do his duty and perform military violence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Then why does he say ahimsa? Because there are two types of violence: external violence and internal violence. A surgeon also commits violence. When he sees a gangrenous limb, he needs to cut it off. When he sees a gangrenous bowel, he knows he needs to resect it and anastomose the parts that are left. So surgeon also performs violence, but he is ahimsak because he is internally not acting out of lust, anger, or greed. Internally, he is ahimsak because he seeks not to do harm, he seeks to do good. Similarly, the soldier, the policeman, and Kshatriya in every form. Externally, he may be engaged in surgical violence, but internally, he is ahimsak. Be very clear on this. Otherwise, you'll be confused. On one hand, Krishna is telling Arjun to go and fight on the battlefield. On the other side, he's telling him that knowledge, the behavior out of knowledge, ahimsa. Kshantir, he is peaceful. Arjavam, he is absolutely straightforward, transparent, and he is absolutely simple. Acharyopasanam saucham. So this we go back to tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. So he performs yajna, but he also goes to a teacher to learn how to perform that yajna. And he cannot learn from a teacher unless he is humble enough to be willing to learn. That's why amanitvam, adambitvam comes first, and acharyopasanam comes later. Because the job is that he has to approach a teacher to teach him how to perform yajna, which will bring about the purification of his ahankar, which will bring about a dissolution of his aham mamamiti. And through the performance of that yajna, he will also acquire saucham. Saucham is what? Cleanliness. It's also purity. And what is purity? The absence of selfishness, absence of self-centeredness. He will be externally clean, and internally he will be free of the negative emotions that are there in the demonic, which is there in chapter 16. Sthiryam, he will be steady in the performance of his duties, in the performance of his yajnas, which is his whole life, of course, is a yajna. And Atma Vinigraha, he has full control over his mind and his senses. Indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara evacha. He has developed detachment from the pleasures of the senses. He is without a sense of I, me, myself, wanting to talk first, do first, project himself first. Anahankara evacha. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukha doshana darshanam. Not only has he got detachment from the world and the pleasures of the senses, not only is his sense of self attenuated, diminished, extinguished, transcended, but he is constantly aware that this world is birth, death, old age, disease, fault, misfortune, and happiness, and that these are guaranteed to everybody. He recognizes this. He knows that this is dukhalayam ashashvatam. This is anityam or sukham lokam. Again, throughout the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna constantly places the renunciate as a lower choice than engaging in the world and doing your duty with determination. In fact, he goes so far as to say that sanyasastu mahabhavo dukkham aptam yogatah. One who renounces the world, he takes to the path of sorrow. He gets only sorrow. Yoga yukta munir brahma na charena adigacchati. But one who works in the world in a spirit of devotion and renunciation, he attains the supreme without delay. So Krishna is not a votary of renouncing the world. He wants you to do your duty. That's why he's come to teach dharma. And he goes on to say, asaktir anabhishwanga putra dara grihadishu. This man is married. He has a wife, he has a son, he has a home. But yet, his love for his family is loving detachment. The love for his wife and child is loving detachment. He is not attached to his home. And nityam cha samachitatvam ishtanishta papatishu. And he points out that in this world you keep getting things which you desire and those which you don't want. But even though he gets things which are not desirable, and sometimes he gets things that are desirable, he is samachitatvam. He is equanimous. His mind does not oscillate. He does not jump with joy or sink with sorrow. Nityam cha samachitatvam ishtanishta papatishu. He remains even-minded whether he receives what he desires or what is not desirable. Mai cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharni vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana samshadi. What is this? Knowledge and bhakti? Yes, that knowledge, the realization that all things lie within Krishna, they're in him and they're his, spontaneously, naturally, effortlessly leads to devotion. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. That when you attain this knowledge of Brahman, the awareness of God as his all-pervading aspect, you no longer hanker for anything, no longer desire anything. You no longer lament or sorrow for anything. At that stage, you get para-bhakti. Therefore, this person who is in knowledge, his behavior is described here in the 13.8 to 13.12. He says, Mai cha ananya yogena bhaktir avyavicharni vivikta desha sevitvam jana aritir samshadi. And you won't find him carousing in a bar. You won't find him doing all kinds of worldly activities. He is vivikta desha sevitvam. And what is that? He's away from the general mass of people. He's free from attachment to kusang. And being free from kusang, the general mass of people, he engages in his devotion. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana artha darshanam etaj jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadato anyatha. Accepting the importance of self-realization and the philosophical search for the absolute truth. All this I declare to be knowledge. And what is contrary to this is ignorance. So Krishna does not say these are the ways by which you acquire knowledge. He's saying this is knowledge. When you are behaving like this, you have knowledge. So yes, you, as you engage in remembering God and forgetting self, you will find all these qualities emerging in you. And don't be scared. You just nurture them. This list is given so that you will recognize these qualities emerging in you, and you will recognize not only as they emerge, but you will nurture them. Because Krishna says very clearly, Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana artha darshanam etaj jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadato anyata. So with this, I complete 8 to 12. If you have any comments or queries, please feel free to go ahead and ask me.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Sir, I specifically want to talk about 5.18.12 and that the exalted qualities will come to you when you start, taking the name of God and forgetting self. How can we,
No, I didn't say taking the name of God and
hmm,
forgetting self. Making your whole life an offering to God.
right, right.
Please don't think that it is you take the name of God in the morning and throw away your
Of
beads
course.
and then you will automatically become these qualities. No. Your whole life has to become a continuous meditation upon God.
Mm-hmm.
Chanting God's name is one method and perhaps the best method in Kali Yuga to do that.
Hmm.
But He wants you to engage in your everyday duties and responsibilities to your family, to everybody.
Right. So, we keep talking about, these qualities and how can they help us in, say, a workplace, where we constantly need to learn and grow and maybe also deal with people who might not be good to you or who might be a roadblock in your success. So how can we apply these qualities at workplace, because we get a lot of these queries that how can it help us at workplace?
See, first of all, you have to get rid of some ideas in your mind. One idea is that you are in the workplace for success. Who said that you're here for success? In the Bhagavad, it is very clearly stated, Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthayopakalpate. Narthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaye smritah. Your job, your profession, your means of livelihood is for your salvation. It is not meant merely to accumulate wealth and using that wealth for your degradation. So you have come with a certain prarabdha. And with that prarabdha, you have entered into this body. And your life has unfolded in this world. as a result of the prarabdha you have brought upon yourself. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna explains to Arjun in chapter 11, I am giving you Divya Drishti, I am showing you the future. And he shows him the battle of Kurukshetra is already fought. Everybody is dead except the Pandavas. So the script is already written. If you are finding yourself struggling against a script, you will always be miserable and unhappy. Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriday desha arjuna tistati brahmyan sarva bhutani yantrarudani maya. I am seated in your heart and I am driving you onwards towards your destiny. You are only seated in a machine made of material energy. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapshishi shashvatam. So your work is the means by which you surrender to this Lord in your heart who is directing you onward towards your destiny. That destiny may not be your promotion. That destiny may not be your increment, but you are obligated to God to perform that work in the best possible manner as an offering to the Lord, who is all pervading. So work is there for your salvation. It is not there for success. I know there are many people who give talks on Bhagavad-Gita for success and all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
But they have not understood Bhagavad-Gita.
absolutely.
So Krishna points out in the Bhagavad-Gita, Chetasa sarva karmani mayi sanyasya matpara buddhi yogam upashrita machitta satatam bhava. Machitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atho chetam ahankaran na shroshasi vidangshasi. Always think of me, unite your intelligence with me, surrender unto me in all activities that you are doing. By my grace, he says, you will cross over all obstacles in your work. But if you think you are doing it, then everything is finished. Your Prakriti is acting within the world, you are merely the observer of that Prakriti. Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartamiti manyate. All actions are performed by Prakriti. You do nothing. But you foolishly think yourself to be the doer of that activities. And therefore, karya karanam kartritve hetur prakriti uchyate purusha sukha dukhanam bhoktritve hetur. And therefore, what happens? When you are imagining that you are doing activities which are performed by Prakriti, you enjoy and you suffer. Just like in a movie's theater, you're watching things on the screen and you jump when the hero is being attacked and you are happy when he is winning. This is life.
Right. Another question I wanted to ask was you spoke about the yagya of knowledge, and can anyone perform this yagya of knowledge?
The yagya of knowledge here is the study of the Bhagavad-Gita. But just like any other yagya, it has to be learned
Mm.
from a teacher. And even if you're performing another yagya, for example, if you're chanting God's name in your discretionary time, there is a neuroscience behind chanting. You should have the knowledge as to why you are doing that.
Of course.
So there's a devotional aspect, there's a neuroscientific aspect, and the Bhagavad Gita gives you all you need to know. You don't have to study any other text, just the Bhagavad Gita. You can't go wrong in Bhagavad Gita because Bhagavad Gita will keep you doing your work and your obligations, and you'll keep the world happy. And at the same time, your everyday activities, washing the dishes, chopping wood, cooking food, going to work, doing your job, everything that you do becomes a yajna.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for another enlightening session, and we look forward to the next session. And we will see you next
Hari
week.
Om,
Hari Om,
Jai Shri Krishna,
Hari
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.